So Daily Google News. I'm really excited today. I've got a buddy here to chat with us about some really high level stuff. Joining me is Henry Kaminski, the brand doctor. Henry, thanks for being here, man.
What's going on, Kasim, man? So great to see you again. I love talking to you, man.
Dude, I love talking to you too. And some background just for anybody watching. You and I met at Steve Sims' event. You were the very first dude to speak. And that's an intimidating room to be the first speaker in. Like, that's a tough. Steve knows, like, he's going to definitely put his best foot forward. So I that alone impressed me. And then you just shut the whole room down with your talk. It was amazing. I really loved it.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, really, like, it was a big deal. And I mean, it's obviously Steve isn't going to throw a slouch up there, but like in a room of the top 1%, I think you exceeded that threshold even too. So I took a ton away from it. What I'd love to talk to you about today, everybody listening, just so you know, they're here for traffic. I'm a Google Ads agency. So you've got, I'd say it's 50% business owners and 50% agencies. And there is a pervasive disease in my world. And you've probably seen this maybe as often as I have, but people drive traffic to absolute dog shit. Like, just and they continue, like they don't learn the lesson, you know what I mean? And I think we're to blame, the educators, the marketing educators. We have this whole like test first mantra, and so a lot of folks have taken that as like, oh, I don't have to do any work, I'm just going to drive traffic and see what happens. And so if you're watching this, I want to explain the reason we've got Henry here. Henry is a world authority, global authority in the brand space. I don't personally know anybody better. I know some really amazing brand people, but I don't think I've ever seen anybody speak as tactically as you speak, Henry. And I'd love to talk to some of these traffic drivers about not just the importance of brand, because we know it's important, but also like the nitty gritty how to. Like, let's get.
I love it.
Yeah, let's get, because it's really easy to jump up there and be like, oh, a brand is the connection you make. All right, fine. How do I do it? Like, soup to nuts, dotting I's, crossing T's. How do we build this brand if I've never invested in this before and I want to start now?
Wow. Well, it starts with a tremendous amount of discovery. And that is, let's just take this doctor that we onboarded from Sacramento, literally today. She came to me in January, and she was gung-ho to really take her practice to the next level. Okay. She's been in practice now for 15 years. And she came to me in January, and she literally just Googled, get this, branding for doctors.
She got the brand doctor.
And the brand doctor just happened to show up. That's Go so figure, right? So she starts diving into my stuff. It took her a little bit, but then she reached out, and then she booked an assessment. I'm just giving you the real tactical stuff here, because this is how you build a brand, especially around yourself. So she booked this assessment. We get on the call, and I think I scared her away with how much I charge, quite frankly, because I am not cheap. You're paying for 15 years worth of experience from a branding expert and professional who started off as a freelance designer and built his agency to what it is today. With multiple 2 Comma Club awards and things like that. So she ran away. And typical, she comes back 2 months later, which is yesterday.
So she went and tried the cheap version already, came back because that didn't work.
Because she sent me an email, and she goes, because when she bowed out in January, I said, what happened? Because you were ready to pull the trigger on we were ready to go. And there were some family situations going on, and listen, life gets in the way, and I totally get it. But she did show me some new stuff. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, she went and tried the cheap route, and now she's back. And I don't say that cocky. I say that as I do it too. We've all done that.
Oh, dude, I think it's almost a prerequisite. I encourage people, if they're scared off by my pricing, and this is me being petulant. I'm just like, hey, go try somebody else for 90 days, and then you'll come back and understand my value better. And maybe that's a bad sales pitch, but it's worked for us pretty well.
That's it. So she's back. And so we had a real informed conversation today. And she said, listen, I know I have to do this right. This is the second chapter of my professional career, and I want to make sure that I do it right. And so she made the investment. and we're started. But here's a couple of takeaways. One is she would have never came back had I not have a tremendous amount of content online, because the conversation today was, I keep watching your YouTube videos and the things that you say, like you had mentioned, who do you want to serve? Do you want to be the Nordstrom's brand, or do you want to be the Walmart brand? And again, this is very elementary, but she made me think. She said, that got me thinking. And she says, I kind of want to be somewhere in the middle. And I said, well, that's a tough space to play in. It's not impossible, but for you, being that time is the most valuable asset and that you want to start to decrease the time you spend at your practice physically, and you want a more virtual experience with your clients and patients, you might want to go for the higher end type of client who can afford you, have them pay a premium for you. And now you're working with less people making more money. I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty good to me. And she said, yes, I wouldn't abort my physical practice 100%. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, do you want to make more with less? Yes, I do. Do you want to make more with more versatility? Yes. Because she does a lot of speaking. And she goes, I wouldn't mind doing a speaking tour and still serving patients virtually, because that gives me the flexibility. Well, we can make that happen for you. Right. So she was seeing all the benefits to this. But a couple things. Had she not, between January and today, see all that content that I put out, how do I separate myself from the other brand guy who's claiming he's an expert or she's an expert? Right. So she really got down and dirty with me and then reinvited the conversation. And so so there's a lot in between there. So one of the big takeaways that I want you to get is putting yourself out there as a content creator, as a subject matter expert these days, is really how you're going to separate yourself from everybody else that does what you do. And if you're not taking that seriously, then why should somebody take you seriously as a potential vendor?
That's such a, dude, it's so important. And it's such a good note for everybody. If you're not, because creating content really means giving value, right?
And there's different ways to do that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to do that. And one of the things I had to learn the hard way, and I think we all do as agency owners or business owners, is we got to figure out what doesn't work first. And that could be costly. That could be very time consuming. And we've all gone through it. You know, we've all put out content that gets no love. And then we're sitting here scratching our heads going, why isn't this working? Why don't my ads convert? Well, the easy answer to that is, well, how well do you know your audience? And do you know them better than they know themselves? Because if you can point out their issues more articulate than they can to you, they're going to be waving their credit card at you.
And so that's right there. That's a golden nugget. If you can point out their issues more articulate than they can, that's the line of demarcation. That's how well you need to know your business and your avatar.
Correct. So I'll give you an example, right? Instagram. I've been on Instagram for 8 years. I got about 142,000 followers, and I saw exponential growth every time I listened to what my audience loved and wanted more of from me. And I'm a pretty animated guy, and I like to make people laugh. But I also like to prove a point while I do all of that. And so one of the things I started to do, which my audience just absolutely loves, and it's a win-win situation for everybody, and I'll tell you why, is I go to TikTok and I find some really funny videos. Okay. And there's this TikTok downloader that you could find on the internet for free. What you do is you copy the link of that TikTok video and you bring it into this URL, and it'll spit out the video into your camera roll without any logos and stuff on it, which is great, right? So now you got the video. What I do is I take that TikTok video and I make it a reel inside of Instagram. but I just don't copy, paste, and send it. What I do is I always overlay it with some text that ties back to a branding insight or a branding takeaway, right? I'll give you a funny example. And this got some love and it got some hate. There was this horse walking down the street, a real live horse. And whoever did this, I have no idea. They put this like shell of a car on its back, and it was light. I mean, yeah. Horses are adorable creatures, right? So it didn't look like it was hurting the animal at any bit. But they put this like shell over his back, and they stuck a BMW's big emblem on the horse's forehead. And the horse is trotting down the street, with this weird looking body of a car on its back and this BMW logo on its forehead. And I overlaid the caption, "You trying to design a pretty website, forgetting to optimize it for sales."
That's great.
And it got like 50,000 views.
Yeah.
Right. And so what's the takeaway? Pretty websites aren't enough. You really have to focus in on the strategic part of a site. What's going to get them to convert, and how are you going to shrink that sales cycle so it doesn't take 6 months for somebody to believe in you and invest in you. So that's how I do it. So I do these once a day, and my engagement through the roof, my reach on Instagram through the roof. The people reaching out to me through the roof, because they're like, I get it. You're making your point, but you're doing it in a way that's entertaining. And that's what we want more of, Henry. And that's what I give them.
When you're using somebody else's content too, which is freaking brilliant, man, because that's the most intimidating part of social. And I know you do your own stuff too, but to go out there and like repurpose somebody else's content, but add your own layer of value, like that's a freaking value bomb. I really love that, man. And I want to sell this to my audience a little bit. Here's the problem: is my audience is dismissing a lot of the brand discussion we've always thought of as like, oh, it's logo and brand guidelines and the color. Google just rolled out something called Performance Max, which is going to be the biggest paradigm shift in traffic driving history. Performance Max is going to need a massive amount of media content. And maybe even more importantly, Performance Max has something called URL expansion, which means Google, you don't get to choose the page they go to. Google chooses the page on your website that they go to. So this tells us that I need a ton of videos and I need a ton of content on my website, because we're dealing with a 500 touch paradigm in Performance Max. The things that you're talking about are all things that would make that happen naturally and organically, and as a byproduct, result in an even more important process, which is developing and building your brand.
Exactly. So let's get tactical again. How do we do that on a site? There's a gazillion and one plugins that you can use. One's easier than the next to push your YouTube feed on your homepage of your website, on your homepage of your funnel. So if you go to Unique Designs with a Z at the end, not an S, .net, and scroll down my website homepage, you're going to see two sections. Follow me on social. Okay. And the first section is YouTube. Every time I publish a new YouTube video, shows up right there on my website homepage with the beautiful thumbnail. They can click on it, takes them right to my YouTube channel. Right. But Henry, you're taking them away from the page. Nope. You can watch the video right there if you want it. Right. And then if you scroll down, you can go to my Instagram account, click on it, boom, takes you right to my Instagram.
Dude, this is really well done.
You want to go to my website, my podcast, take you right there with a click of a button. So that's how you integrate your content and you help Google.
Right.
Right. Because that's what Google needs, that help to get to get people to believe, to get people to trust you. And then you're also looking at the homepage there, you know, there's tremendous amounts of testimony and social proof, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, Russell Brunson being a client of the past, and there's a lady boss, you know, there are a tremendous amount of people here, and you just scroll through, you click the button, and there's the testimony. There's our buddy Dom Fawcett.
Yep, Dom.
Right.
This is so well done.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So I just want, you know, it's like inviting somebody to your home, right? When the minute they walk in the front door, you want to make them feel as comfortable as possible. At least me. You know, I don't like stuffiness.
Yeah.
So when you walk into my house, I want to make you feel like it's your home, right? And you feel that, you know, when you come to my website. I want you to feel that you're going to get the person that's behind this website. You're not getting some facade to get you to click on something to get you to buy. We've all gone through that experience, and how frustrated are we? And what does that do to our trust level in the future when we go to buy again, right? When we get that baited click, and then we go and we go to get onboarded, and it's really not what they said it was going to be. It's horrible. And that's killing people's brands every day. And so I'm here. I was put on this earth to be able to help people keep it real with their audience and deliver their promise. Because in my heart of hearts, Kasim, I truly believe that people do not want to bait and switch people. Yes, there's a couple bad eggs in the bunch. We all know that. But I'm an optimist where I believe that 98% of the world, they want to deliver a beautiful experience to their customers. They just don't know how to do it. And that's where we come in, and we really help them seamlessly finesse that process for their customers.
And I love that you go straight at content too. I think that's the most important part of branding. That's how people really get to know you. That's where the relationship building is. Where would you recommend people start? Let's say I've got a business. I've heard what you said. I'm sold. I don't know where to begin.
It begins with your audience. You know, you probably heard this 1,000 times, Kasim, but you really got to understand who you're serving and really know them inside and out. I mean, otherwise you're not going to know how to craft your offer. You're not going to know what to craft as far as content goes. So you really have to pick. And, you know, as a branding professional for 15 years, I'll be the first one to raise my hand to say that I struggled with this over the years. I wanted to help everybody. You know, I didn't care if you were a $5 million business, a $10 million business, or somebody that was just starting out. Like, I wanted to just help everybody, you know, leave them better than you found them. And I realized that, well, then you wind up helping no one. You know, it's that old cliche quote, right? So what I dialed into over the past 5-6 years, which I think really helped me brand myself and really help the business tremendously, was focus on subject matter experts. Focus on the folks that have been in business for a few years and now are saying to themselves, I need something more legitimate. I need something that's going to take me to the next level. I'll give you another example. We have another client in the Los Angeles area, and she's a property manager, right? But she wants to roll in the same sphere as the Property Brothers. Right? They're super successful, got their shows on HGTV. Now, here's a woman who took over her father's business, has done this her entire life, since a teenager, and said to herself, I don't want to stop here. I have so much to offer, but I'm never going to be able to play ball with the Property Brothers, or at least a side of them, if I don't level up my branding. She said, I did all the cookie cutter stuff already, and it got me to this point. So I told her, I said, what are you looking to do? Who are you trying to serve? And she was pretty clear on who she wanted to serve, but she didn't know how to serve them. She didn't know even how to approach them from a digital standpoint. And so I was giving her some examples of some of the people that I worked with in her space and what we did together and how they were able to find more buyers and sellers. And she was sold. And she was like, this is the brains that I've been looking for all these years. And I said, well, good thing we have a mutual friend, because I just rebranded his business last year. And beautiful, another business that was taken over from the youth. And I just love this energy and excitement that these people have. They want to maintain their legacy, right? They want to continue it on. This business, because it's a family business, means so much to them, and they want to carry that torch even further, right? And I'm just blessed. The universe has blessed me in so many different ways, and I'm blessed to work with these types of folks, because as much as I'm helping them, they're helping me, because I get such reward when I see people's faces, when I introduce their new brand identity for the first time, and they're blown away.
That's awesome, man. Henry, how can people work with you?
Well, very simple. There's two ways. If you want to dip your toe in the water, I think the first thing you should do is you go to my website, Unique Designz with a Z at the end, not an S, .net, and you scroll down and enroll into that free masterclass. Or you go to uniquedesignz.net/level up my branding. That'll take you straight to the masterclass, and dive into those 11 lessons. I put a lot of work and effort into those, and I wanted to make sure that I give you a couple hours of content. You don't have to do it in one sitting, but I made sure that I give you everything you need to get started. Right? So everything's in there. If you want to bypass that and just listen, I'm ready to go, just tell me where to go, coach, then again, go to my website and just book an assessment with me. And what that's going to do is that's going to get you in front of me one-on-one, and we're going to find out where you're at, where you want to go, what's blocking, and I'm going to give you some real pointed direction on where you should start. And then, we may have an opportunity to work together, or I could pass you along to some referral partners and they can help you as well.
That's huge, man. Henry, I really appreciate you being here.
Kasim, thank you so much, man. I can't wait to have you back on my show, and I look forward to it. It's always a pleasure talking to you, man.
Always a pleasure. Henry's got a great podcast, by the way. If you're listening to this, make sure you go listen to his show. You can follow him on his socials, and he's pretty active just about everywhere. All the links will be in the description of this video. I shoot a video every single day. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace. Wait, before you go, I'm constantly looking for amazing people to come join our team. So if you're passionate about Google Ads and you're passionate about customer success, please go to soul8.com/apply, and we'd love to see you as a part of the Solutions 8 team. Also, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. It lets the YouTube algorithm know that we actually know what we're doing. And don't forget to subscribe. We shoot a video every single day, and I don't want you to miss out on any of it. Lastly, if you have questions, comments, concerns, confessions, or you just hate my face and my voice, go ahead and hit us up in the comments. We get very little human interaction, and even the heckling is something that I kind of get a kick out of. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being subscribers if you're a subscriber. Don't forget to apply if you're interested in working at Solutions 8. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.